Welcome to the Winning Balance podcast. We are joined with Parker Vassau.
Yeah.
I'm pronouncing that right?
Yep.
I got to ask
Nailed
like 3 or 4 times.
It's all good. Yeah, you nailed it.
What are like the most common mispronunciations you hear?
Vassau. Dude, I've heard it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's spelled. Where is it from?
It's French,
Okay.
and it used to be Vincent, and then when they went back in the day when they came over from France, they would say Vincent with an accent, and it sounded like Vassau.
Really?
At some point, they just changed it to Vassau.
I love
So,
it.
I always tell people it's like Nassau, Bahamas, but with a V.
That's perfect.
So yeah.
That'll help me remember it. Parker is a freaking stud. I'm pumped to have him on the podcast for a lot of different reasons. Parker, you are a door-to-door expert. You've been in that space for how many years now?
Yeah, almost a decade.
Almost a decade.
Yeah, so I'm 32. When I got home from my mission, got into door-to-door sales, and I've in some way, shape, or form been in that space ever since.
I love it. You're the VP at Point Marketing,
Mm-hmm.
VP of Sales,
Mm-hmm.
and you are a partner in one of the pest control companies that
Point sells for.
Point sells for.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So marketing companies, there's other ones like Vantage or The Grit. If you're listening to this, we're
Yeah.
a door-to-door marketing pest control company, couple hundred reps. I run that program. And then one of the companies that our sales force sells for every summer, me and a couple partners own.
That's sweet.
So it's called Palisade Pest Control. So we run the sales force, and then we also have a company that actually is like customer facing as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, coming to Utah, like, I mean, I went to college here, met my wife, moved back to Seattle, and was like recruited heavily in college.
Mhm.
Like every
Yeah.
white kid who's,
Of course.
I shouldn't say white, but everyone in Utah,
Yeah.
that was my, like, what I saw Utah as.
Yeah.
But as a return missionary, you were just getting hit up.
Mm-hmm.
But then coming back to Utah, like I moved to Utah 3.5 years ago for good,
Mm-hmm.
per se. Seeing like the business side of door to door has been super intriguing.
Mm.
And I'm learning more and more. As you can tell, there's some
Mhm.
hesitancy in my voice. I don't even
Yeah.
know what all that means,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you're obviously killing it. You've used that as a vehicle to buy 27 doors
Mm-hmm. Yep.
in real estate, which is insane.
Yeah.
Are most of those in Utah?
Most in Utah, also in Idaho.
Cool.
Yep. And about half that portfolio of the 27 units we own, I just own myself with my wife, and then the other half we own with some partners. So like I have a triplex that I have a partner on, and then we have a 13 unit apartment building in Idaho Falls, and I have a couple partners on that as well.
That's amazing.
So, but yeah, real estate, that's one thing that you and I have in common. That's always
Sure.
been the vehicle that I've kind of like scooped, if I go have a good income year, take the cash, put it into an asset, and I love real estate.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's one thing that we also, I feel like we have a lot of shared opinions on real estate. Like
Yep.
one, you had to buy for taxes, right?
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
both of us have that in common, but
Mhm.
to like time in the market and what it's done to
Yep.
both of us
Mhm.
is absolutely insane. And when we're talking to these young kids,
Mhm.
it's hard for them to realize that.
Mhm.
But then you fast forward to where we've been at.
Yeah.
I've been in it like 8 years. You've been in it.
About the same.
Yeah, close to the
Mhm.
same. And I
Yep.
never thought my portfolio would be
No.
where it's at, right?
Yeah, dude, it's that we underestimate what can happen in 1 year, but we overestimate what can happen, or opposite, right? We overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but we underestimate in 5 or 10. And there's a lot of areas in life where that applies, but real estate investing is for sure one of those, right? Where like you go into it kind of having hopes and dreams, and then 5 years down the road, you're like, it shatters every hope and dream you had. Like that's usually how anything that compounds in life works. And real estate investing has been one of those for me. It's like those first couple properties that we bought 6-7 years ago, they're crushing now.
Yeah.
And just time at your back is such a helpful thing in real estate.
I've never heard it said like that. I love that. You underestimate what could happen, or you overestimate what
like
could
short
happen
term.
in
We
a
have
year.
goals. We set
Yeah.
big goals, and it's kind of like, so we might fall flat a little bit, right? But we underestimate what 5 years can do. You just put a little bit more time behind it, and a lot of times it's more powerful than you ever even imagined.
It's so
right?
true.
Like my fourplex that I first bought, that was the first deal my wife and I ever did. Like after the first year, I bet if you paused time and talked to me and asked, how's that deal going? It would have been like I don't know, like it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, like I kind of hoped it would be maybe a little bit more than this. Like the cash flow is a little bit underwhelming or whatever. You asked me today and I'm like, bro, this thing spits out cash. I don't even think about it. It's doubled in value. It's worth $1 million and I bought it for 500. Like it's just, like,
Yeah,
so I think that's a prime example of that. And that applies to so many areas of life, but real estate's a cool example of that.
for sure. It's a funny story. I literally yesterday I posted on my story of a deal that I bought in 2020.
Is that the Washington one?
Yeah.
I saw you post that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it like, and I should have referenced, because I do a lot of seller finance and takeover loans,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought like saying it's a 30-year fixed at 3.625.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't buy this today, but anyways, I clarified at the end, like I bought this in 2020,
Yeah.
but that's the exact reason, or that's like the message I was trying to get across. The rents are like 5,800
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to go up $300. So they're going to be like $6,000 plus. And my PITI
Mm-hmm.
is 2,450. Insane.
Powerful.
And that's like
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying, Parker. If you were to ask me when that was stabilized in 2020, I'd be like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of headaches I'm dealing with. It's
Right.
fine.
Right.
And now it's like on
Yeah.
auto pay and it's just like printing, and
Right.
it's a cool story of what time in the market does. But Parker, I've been talking too much. The main reason I have you on the podcast, and like there's a lot of people that are successful, but I don't necessarily like look up to because they sacrifice what I view as like the number one priority, which is family. And like, especially like your faith too, like the things in life that I feel like ground us as humans. And I look up to you a lot for that. And
Thank you.
the humility that comes with that. So like just seeing your Instagram, getting to know you more, it's apparent that that's your sole focus, and business is a cool funnel into what you can provide for your family. But I'd love to hear your journey of maybe like when you first started and what you would perceive as your career, and the story of Parker and how you got to where you are today, and just starting from the beginning of like, did you start in pest?
Yeah.
I'd love to turn the time over.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate that. I came home from a mission, which was super impactful for me, just kind of helped me, kind of create that like foundation for who I was and what I believed. And my mission gave me a lot of confidence in myself because I served in Eastern Europe. It was a really tough part of the world, and learned a language that was like really complicated and tough. It was just very like, it humbled me and challenged me, and I had a lot of confidence coming home. I wasn't yet sure how that would apply in like the secular world in school and in work or whatever, but I just knew like if I go put my mind to something, I can go get results. I got married pretty young. I married an amazing girl. Like she's just so supportive and loyal and just like down to support. And her parents, she grew up in a pretty modest setup. Her dad is very much like Dave Ramsey 2.0, like everything he owns in cash, hates debt, taught her at a young age to pay her own way. So I married a girl that had like really cool, amazing habits. So we got married, and like she was down for the ride of like, let's go delay gratification and build something. I think we both had this kind of mature perspective actually at a pretty young age of, we want to go build an amazing life, but like we understood the cost was real. So got married pretty young. We've been married almost 10 years. Sales for me was something I got into pretty early on because I was at BYU studying marketing, and it was competitive. And I didn't feel like, I felt like I was most of the time the dumbest kid in the room. Like I had to work really hard, and everyone else, it just felt like it came easy. I needed to like fully lock in on school while school was in session. And I couldn't afford to go work other jobs. So I almost got into summer sales out of like necessity, because I needed to make enough money in the summers to not have to work while going to school. And And then summer sales became this vehicle. The real estate thing early on kind of became interesting to me. I had a mentor, Corbin Church, who I think connected with. I remember one time sitting with him in a one-on-one mentorship session, and he like whiteboarded this 5 to 10 year path to become a millionaire at a young age. And it was through real estate, buying a property every year and staying disciplined and delaying gratification. And I remember going home to my wife, and she was just supportive. And because of how she was raised, like she was just like, I could do that. I could support your vision there. So that day, kind of then and there, we committed to doing multiple summers of sales and using that as the vehicle while I was in school. And while I was still at BYU, we bought our first fourplex here in Provo. And we just got that journey started pretty early on. Like at 23 years old, we owned real estate and, started investing. And so yeah, we just started building it early. And then, to the faith and family thing. Nowadays we have 2 kids. My kids are like the joy of my life. It's like being a dad is the coolest thing I've ever done. Doing it with my wife is a blast. And the faith thing is the thing that connects it all. Like I definitely believe that we're here on purpose, and I want to be an amazing example to my kids and be, an example of what a disciple looks like. And so there's a lot there to unpack, but that's kind of, I don't know, that's like an intro to us.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it. Parker, not everyone, the whole audience isn't super familiar with an LDS mission, right?
Okay. Yeah.
What makes an LDS mission so hard, in a sense of like how it prepares you for life?
Yeah. Well, my mission, not all missions are created equal. I was in Bulgaria, and Bulgaria is like, it's a poor country in Europe, very poor, probably one of the poorest countries in Europe. Like 30, 40 years ago, they were a communist country. So they're not like super welcoming of like, because of their past and their history and the fact that like, they've just been through so much. They're kind of calloused to like, don't like people coming into their country telling them what to believe, how to do things. And so, it was challenging. Like we would just like pound pavement all day on the streets, trying to stop people and talk to people about their faith and seeing if they're open-minded to sit down and hear about our faith. And I mean, as a 19-year-old kid, like that just makes you super tough.
Coming from you
Utah.
grew up in Utah?
Grew up in Utah.
Straight
bubble.
to Bulgaria.
Yeah, kind of a bubble, right? Like I grew up in like, when you grow up in Utah, most people are LDS, and so it's just kind of this like super comfy, everyone else believes what I believe thing, and then you get put on the streets there speaking a different language, and all day long you're just getting kicked in the teeth. And there was a lot of introspection there. Like, do I really believe this thing? Not just that, but yeah, like it was just stinking hard, like hard work, and nothing was given to us. Some people serve missions where like the church is kind of somewhat strong, and so they're like fed lessons or potential interested people.
And food, right?
And food.
Yeah.
We were never fed food. And we were never fed potential like candidates to go teach. So it was 2 years of just hard work and just like having to either jump ship or double down. The only way to survive out there was to just like either get in or get out, like mentally and spiritually with the thing. And so it was just super hard, right?
Yeah,
like it's like the hardest thing you can do as a young kid is go move to another country, get uncomfortable. And nowadays on like LDS kids, they actually can FaceTime their parents and talk more to them. When I served my mission
twice a year.
Yeah. It was Mother's Day and Christmas, and it was 45 minutes, and that was it.
Yep.
And it was the only like contact you had verbally and sometimes visually, like you'd see them on a Zoom meeting or whatever, or Skype back in the day.
Yep.
Other than that, it was email and just locking in and just like being committed and living in this country. So it was super hard, man. Super hard. Made me who I am. I mean, like coming home again, I didn't know what vehicle I'd plug into, but I knew like, dude, I'm tough as heck. Like I'm a tough dude now, like having done what I just did. And so I had confidence that I was going to figure it out and be resourceful.
Yeah.
And door-to-door sales just ended up being the vehicle. And I love the door-to-door sales world for a lot of reasons, but like it just, I don't know, it ended up just being the thing. I'm sure it could have been something different.
Yeah, dude,
So,
I like looking back on my mission, I served in Indianapolis, so
yeah.
not like
Yeah.
geographically it wasn't nearly as like life changing.
Right.
Still America, still had USPS, still different
Yeah.
like, packages, but when I look back at it, coming from what I view as like still a young kid and getting thrown in an atmosphere where the structure alone, I feel like, is an adjustment and a half. Like you're waking up at 6 a.m. Yeah, 6:30. It's very routine based. Like from here to here, you're working out for 30 minutes. You have your breakfast. You have your study time. You have this. You have that. It's like go, go, go. And you have to maximize. Like you could choose to be lazy and choose to do nothing out there, or you can choose to like take advantage of the opportunity. And that's like a big part of my mission. I was just like, I'm here, might as well take advantage of it.
Yep.
And the amount of like discipline and routine I learned has shaped my entire career. I used to think I was getting behind on my mission. Like, oh, I'm sacrificing 2 years while my other buddies are
Get ahead.
Yeah, they're
making money.
Exactly.
Advancing through school.
Exactly. But now like looking back on it, there's nothing that could have put me further ahead than my peers, than serving a mission. And I also look back at that as like just being a young kid and breaking your teeth on rejection and like the most like doors slammed in your face, like guns brought to the door. I mean, we've seen it all, right?
You know how you get a lot of entrepreneurs that nowadays say the first investment you ever make should be in yourself? I think a lot of LDS kids do that by going on a mission.
For sure.
You know, like there's a lot of business people nowadays that'll say like your first 20, 30 grand you ever make, like honestly, you should just pour it back into like just continuing to double down on your skill sets and just sharpening your saw and becoming the best version of yourself. And I just think of like my mission was that. It was like, and the other cool thing about the mission is like you had God in your corner. You were doing that with God.
Yeah.
And so I think to your point, like a lot of people go on a mission and the negative way to think about it is like my friends are advancing through school and they're making money and I'm kind of here like on this island doing this other thing. And it's not, it is very much a trampoline, if you will. Like if you'll just go do it and go all in, you'll be so much further ahead than kids. It's not even funny. I now hire a bunch of return missionaries and there is a crazy difference between a kid that's gone and done that and someone that hasn't.
Yeah.
Right. So when they come and do summer sales now, they have these receipts that they can pull from when times get tough. Like, dude, I've been here, done this, back against the ropes. I've already made this decision that I'm the type of person that responds the right way when things get hard. And the kid that hasn't gone and done something hard like that just doesn't yet have that history. It's not that they'll fold. They could use that as their chance to like, you know, for some people, summer sales can be a cool way to go create those receipts now if you don't have something prior to that. Yeah. But I'm just saying like the mission can be looked back on as like, I already have those receipts now. I can go borrow from that as evidence. So, but yeah, it was an amazing experience, like life-changing. I owe a lot of the amazing things in my life to going and doing that.
Yeah, I always look back, like even for my kids in the future, if they don't serve a mission and they don't choose that, I just think there has to be something that is like, even like the army, some structure, something that gets them uncomfortable,
right?
That helps transition stepping out of your own home, because you're used to this being held up in a lot of ways, even if it's they just provide food, right? Like you're thrown out into the wilderness. But you got home from your mission, you got into the door-to-door space. What happened next? Like how did Parker start excelling? Like do you look back at a specific moment? Was it gradual? Talk to me through that.
I did a summer single And then my second summer I ever did was married. And I'll say that like getting married for me, getting married does not, I'm not saying it solves all your problems. That's for dang sure, you know.
Mm.
But what it did to me, and I think what I've observed that it does to a lot of men, because I have couple hundred reps that work for me, and I've seen a lot of case studies of this. Getting married helped me a lot. My level of commitment to my future just naturally like just elevated because I wanted to take care of this other person that I loved a lot, right? So my first summer ever when I was single, I remember like laying on the grass, waiting for the day to be done. I was like kind of working hard, but there was definitely like a lot of hours and just like energy being left on the table every day. And I just like, once I got married, that changed. But like there's just kind of every time you want to go get to a new level, right? There's new skills that have to be learned. So the first time I ever made six figures, I think I was 22, or 23. I think I was 23. And I think to make six figures, you have to be either really good at sales or really good at leadership.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of do one or the other actually. And I think you can go get to six figures. If you want to make multiple six figures, you kind of have to get good at both. And at first I just got good at selling, and then I got good at the leadership thing, and I kind of married them together. And so I was making, really good money at a young age and investing it into real estate. And that meeting I had with Corbin Church was super impactful. I had the kind of the skill sets that I developed on a mission that I was able to use to acquire the capital and then invest it at a young age, and did a lot of that. And then again, there's like kind of the next level, right? And so like in my 20s, it was about like, what's the next level? There's a six-figure skill set. There's a multiple six figures. There's the seven-figure. Like what are the next skill sets that I need to go learn? And at some point, like, yeah, now my gig currently is like helping leaders become teaching leaders how to attract other leaders who attract reps. Like, it's just like you try to get to those next levels and unlock that next level. It's like a video game.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
it's fun. So that's been my quest the last, for as long as I've been in this game, is just like, how do I go unlock that next level? And at some point, so I had worked for this company for 6-7 years in my 20s, and they sold to a private equity group when I was in like kind of my later 20s. And it created an opportunity for me to buy into the next round, if you will. And so we restructured like 4 years ago, and I became an owner in our pest company. And so that's been fun to feel like I'm kind of along for the ride, and we're like building something.
Yeah.
But for a lot of my 20s, it was like sales, leadership, real estate investing, and just how good can I get at all those. And so that was kind of that was my 20s, and that's how we created some freedom.
I love it.
Yeah.
And something that came to my mind when you were saying that, Parker, I love hearing different people's strategies for growth, right? Like yours is very skill set based. Like if I can acquire this skill, if I can build this skill, then I can get to this level.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit different. I like understand there's a tactical side to it, but mine's completely like why based. And it's what I mean by that is when I wanted to get to X, my why was like very financial freedom oriented. And then when I felt like I was far beyond like survival of like finances, like I feel like I'm pretty close to financial free per se. My why, like if I want to get to the next level, financial freedom is no longer going to push me there. So it's been a fun journey trying to discover the new why and the new why. And I talked to one of my mentors about this in Seattle, Thatch Nguyen. He's pretty big on socials, and he told me you're in different phases of your life, so your whys are going to change, and you go from survival to maybe like contribution. And like that's where I feel like I'm at now. Like if I want to get into, let's say, like 7 figures, my why is going to be drastically different than it was at the beginning of my career when I
Sure. Yeah.
was just married and now motivated to provide for someone beyond myself. It's just cool to see that outlay. And I love your perspective because I think my brain goes, where's my why? And then the tactical side of
Yeah.
like skill set and how do I make this happen?
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot lately. I think that's a cool thought. Like, I think initially when you're the young kid off a mission, starting school, like naturally it's going to be like, how do I go get some money coming in to just pay the bills?
Exactly.
And then it's like freedom. Freedom sounds cool. Like I want to go get enough investments or just make enough money to where I just feel like I'm not like I'm just kind of my own quarterback in life,
Yeah.
right? And then at some point you kind of accomplish that. And then there becomes this thing where it's like, should my goal be to retire young? Which I mean, my hot take on that is like, I don't think you find the word retirement anywhere in the Bible or whatever. Like it's just retiring is not, that's not something I'm very interested in, like at this stage, right? Like you can go enjoy life and like you and I both love golf and I want to live like, I want to make tons of memories and spend a lot of time with my kids and stuff. But like, so I love that word contribution. Like, I think that's, at some point you have to just figure out, okay, if I want to stay in this game and go to get to the next level and unlock a new skill, like a new thing, then what's the motivator? And I have partners that have been a really cool example for me that I still run with, and I don't know how much longer they'll run with me. But they have been a cool example. Like they're both in their 50s, worth, a lot, and they can be done if they wanted to be. But like they legitimately still get after it and I think their main focus is contribution. Like not monetary contribution, but like impact contribution.
For sure.
And so my goal has been like, how do I go get to that phase like early in life? Because like that's way more cool and rewarding than like, because like the freedom thing is kind of like selfish almost.
Yeah, exactly.
But the contribution thing is external focused and outward facing. And they've been super rad examples for me there. And so, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Like I would not say I'm quite there yet, like with what you described. I wish I was.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I am either, but it's a noble thing to, when at some point you will be and I will be.
Yeah.
And at that point we'll have to have an honest convo on like, what's the motivator?
Exactly. Parker, you've obviously been like, I think our brains are similar in a sense of retirement doesn't sound appealing because we enjoy the progress, the growth, aspect of life in general, business specifically, but family, etc. Right? That comes with a lot of like go mentality. How do you set time aside, intention, for your family, like especially like your kids, right? Like, do you have any specific practices that you've done throughout your years?
Yeah. So like I was actually, as you said that, like what came to my mind was yesterday for me. So yesterday my schedule, and right now it is over the break. So we're a little more laid back with work right now, but like I went to work, got there at 10 a.m., took a couple meetings that were important and like needle moving meetings. I'm getting more intentional about like what I say no to, which I think is as you get more important in an organization, you need to get better at saying no. Me and you both have a friend, Blake Erickson. Like he's coached me, helped me a lot over the last year or two. And like, that's been a big thing for me. So that's maybe the first thought is like, quit saying yes to like non-needle moving things just to show, I don't know who you're showing, but that you're at work, quote unquote. Right. So I took a couple needle moving meetings yesterday, did a couple activities that I thought were impactful, went to lunch. I think it was a work lunch. I can't remember. But then I went to an indoor swimming thing with my kids for 2 hours with my wife in Lehigh. 2 hours, like had a blast. My kids freaking loved it. And then I actually went back to work for a little bit, went and saw my dad. And then I went home and my dream day would have been like putting my kids home to bed. I didn't get there in time for that. But like, that's a dream day for me. Like 100%. A little bit of work, go do something that's impactful, move the needle, push the boulder to the top of the hill type thing for work, so you can feel like you're building something. Go to lunch with a friend, go take your kids out and do something epic for a couple hours, go see your dad, like, so I think what it comes down to is, there's pillars in life that matter. And some of us, we neglect some of the really important ones.
Yeah.
And, my dream day looks like a balance of a couple of them. And it doesn't mean that it's every day going to be freaking perfectly flat. I got all the pillars spoken for, but that pursuit is noble. And I think, like, I kind of starve after certain pillars if I haven't felt them or tasted them in a while. And so it's just like constantly nourishing the family pillar, the faith pillar. I'm the same with work. Like, if I go on a work trip, or if I go on a family trip even, and I'm just like, it's all kids, it's all fun, and I'm 4 days in, like, my wife can see it on my face. I'm like, bro,
The angst.
I need to get out of the house and go make a work call, even if it's a non-needle moving work call. Like, I want to go freaking work.
Yeah.
Because, like, I love it. It's like my sport that I get to play, and I believe it does, like, it's just masculine, and I love bringing in income. It's fun. Like, it's just,
it is a game.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's like, it's part of what I was built to do. So I crave after all of them, and you just have to kind of keep nourishing all of it.
Yeah,
I think is the best thought I could give. And obviously the last thought is just scheduling it, being disciplined with that, putting it on your schedule. Like yesterday, it was 3:00. We met at Lehigh Rec, and it was on my schedule, and we planned it. And so it was just like, it was super easy to say no if there were other meetings that were trying to get put on me during that window.
Yeah, I love that. You talk about pillars. Mine's similar, but I visualize buckets.
Cool.
In different phases of my life, call for like smaller, bigger buckets, right?
Love that.
And
yeah.
so like family is very intentional, and usually when like one of my larger I try, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there might be a season. I learned this from Casey Bob, just like extreme work. Like, there might be a season of extreme imbalance, and then there might be a season in December, late December, that it's extremely imbalanced towards family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I've noticed that sometimes like my social bucket shrinks really small because my season of family and work take all precedence. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I've visualized it, pretty similar to your pillars, but I think that's amazing. Parker, I think you do an amazing job of like showing that on Instagram too.
Yeah. Thank you.
And, like, I feel like it's not just on Instagram. I can feel that you're intentional about it in real life too. Something else that I've known you to be passionate about is your relationship with your stepdad too, that you've talked about. Walk me through that. And he passed away a year ago.
A little bit more than a year now. Yeah.
Talk to me about his importance, because I've seen your posts of his role in your life, but I'd love to hear more from your perspective on that.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that, dude. Yeah, my parents split when I was 3, and so my mom remarried him when I was 5, and I'm 32 now, so it's like 25 years of a father figure that was just super impactful for me. So I'm blessed to have 2 dads. I have a biological dad that I'm really close with, and then I had a stepdad that again, just super close with. I grew up in his home, in my stepdad's home, because I grew up with my mom primarily. And he was just intentional, always treated me as his. And he was a cowboy, like grew up in a small town in Utah, just tough person. We had a lot in common. He loved sports. He would make me laugh. He was a big thinker. And I think a lot of my big thinking, he was just always in my ear of like, dude, you can be great. I posted something the other day about like my mom, which is crazy, 24 years later, opens some drawer just randomly in our house and finds a white sheet of paper that says Parker's 2002 goals. This is 24 years ago. And it was in his handwriting. And it was clear that he sat down with me and set goals with me in 2002. And it was like 5 really simple, kind of just like I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So it was like become a good quarterback and learn how to play the piano with a good attitude and be humble and be a good first baseman this year. I mean, it was like just really like beautiful, simple goals. But that was just that's a receipt and an example of just like the type of person he was in my life. Just like he's sitting down with an 8-year-old, like getting in my brain, helping me understand like you get out of life what you put into it. And if you'll go into a year being intentional about X, Y, Z, you know, I don't know, like there's something special about that for me. So he passed of ALS, worst disease ever. And it was hard to watch. And I think that, you know, what it comes down to is like at some point we all think that we're all superheroes and will never die. And it was the first like close to me person that's passed in my life. And it just felt like it happened really fast. And I've shared this, but like the night he passed, I remember kind of just like sitting in the room and observing him passing. And I just had all these like emotional thoughts on my heart. And the main ones were just like, I want my kids to feel as proud and as like adoring of me as I do of him when I pass. You know,
That's powerful.
that was like a big one. And then it was like, well, how do I go pull that off? Well, I need to be able to be relied on. And when I say relied on, I mean in all the areas and the buckets that you just talked about, right? It's like, I want to be an example of faith and put family first and not just say that, but like actually make memories with my kids and set goals with them when they're 8 years old. Like just all that stuff, right? I want them to look at me as like a freaking gangster in business. And then like I want them to be proud that I'm their dad, you know? And so although it sucked and I wish he was here still, it was a really beautiful reminder for me in my life of just like, it was just this, I need to step up. I need to be better. I can be better. And I have a 6-year-old boy and he now, like everything I go do, I'm probably creating memories in his head now. And so it's like, dude, the game has begun. Like, you know, we're not on the bench anymore. Like I'm in the freaking game and my kid's making everything I do day in and day out, he is observing, and it's time to create the story in his head that he'll tell himself when I'm on my deathbed.
That's powerful.
And so I miss him a lot. And there's a lot of days I have him on my keychain, and I have this car that's in my hat that I put on my front dash, but it says "Die Trying." And he would wear this hat around our house his last couple months of his life that just said "Die Trying." He just wore it like every day. He was just a gangster, man.
That's amazing.
He was just a badass dude. Like he just was.
He sounds like it. I mean, all the stories that you shared with me, like, pumped me up to be a better human. And I never even knew the guy. And
Yeah.
he obviously had a big effect on you. That's going to, like, change waves of generations. Like, I know it's going to affect your kids and it's going to affect their kids. So, an ode to the strength he was as a human.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course, dude. That leads me to like what I want to talk about next, because his impact on your life made you or prompted you to want to write a book, correct?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that book, which is launching.
Yeah, January 6th. So
January 6th,
basically
coming
1
up.
week.
I love it.
Yeah, so 1 week I'm launching it. The book is titled Wealth Worth Chasing. And it's super aligned with just a lot of the stuff that we've talked about today. But it's just, I tell the story actually in the first chapter of his passing and just kind of this awakening and this just reminder to me, like I need to live an intentional life. And at my day job, I get to manage a couple hundred male, like most of them are, I actually have some amazing girls too, but a lot of them are 18 to 25-year-old men. And I feel like I feel some stewardship to want to just like be a good example to that demographic. So the book, the audience, or my target audience, if you will, for the book is just young men. And the book is built around, or based around basically building your life around those 4 F's. So faith, family, finances, and fitness.
Mm.
And I think the playbook, if you will, to be able to confidently like pass away and know that you showed up and did your thing is if you can go build a life around those 4 pillars. And so I talk about examples from my life, even though I don't feel like I feel like I'm still in my like second or third inning, you know, but just things that I've learned so far. And so it was a lot, it took a lot of work. I'm pumped about it. I think it's it'll be impactful for someone that is a young man, and kind of wherever you're at on your journey. I hope people read it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, make sure, where can they find it? Is it on
It's
Amazon?
on Amazon, yeah, and I'll link it in my bio on Instagram. I haven't yet, but the day we launch it, I'll put it in there, kind of in my bio. And then if they just type in "wealth worth chasing" into Amazon and into the search bar, it'll come up.
I love it. Where can they follow you on Instagram?
Just Parker.Vassau, Vassau
I love it.
is my Insta handle. And yeah, similar to you, I've been trying to lean into the content game a little bit, and that's been a whole different.
It's a grind,
It's
huh?
such a freaking grind, dude. It's like super. Just takes some vulnerability, and it takes a lot of consistency. And I think way similar to that thought I shared on the 1 year, 5 years. You know, we underestimate, we overestimate the whole thing. It's that same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and I've been doing it now pretty consistently for 5 years, and I'd say I didn't like the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Consistency in social media. It takes so much freaking effort.
Yeah.
Whether it's capital, whether it's time, whether it's at the beginning I had no so it was all time, and then the snowball starts going, and it's amazing what it does. I would say my growth has been not nearly what I want it to be in terms of following, but what it's done for my business is insane. So
yeah, I mean, I found you, like, I remember we've only talked and known each other for a couple months or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think it's been a year or two since I've been like following you, and there's always just been this like level of respect.
I appreciate
And
it.
dude, there's tons of people. That's the thing, is like, it's so hard to measure, right? It's so hard to measure the actual value of having a brand and putting yourself out there like that.
100%.
I had a kid yesterday that I have a recruiting meeting here in a couple hours, and he's like, hey, you know, he's being recruited by one of my other reps, and he texted me directly, "Hey man, I'm excited to hear about your company. Do you have a company website and like an Instagram?" I just sent him my stuff, and I'm like proud to send it to him now. Whereas like 2 years ago, I'd have been like, dude, I don't
send it.
So anyway,
I deleted my Instagram.
yeah.
No, it's so true. I mean, I think in both of our businesses, me being in real estate, you being in the door-to-door space, trust is a big
Absolutely
a big piece of it, right? Whether it's recruiting, whether it's like signing up to do one of the biggest purchases of their life with real estate, trust is important, right? And what the beauty of social media is that I can cross a lot of that barrier of like rapport and trust, just because I put myself out there so much, and that's been cool. But that leads me to my next question too, of like, you're obviously a stand-up guy, Parker. Like, I've gotten to know you. It's clear on your social medias, and even like Utah County specifically is a small, tight-knit place, and a reputation, whether good or bad, carries pretty smooth through the air. And you've retained a very solid reputation from everyone that I've spoken to you about, or spoken about you, right? And I think like as a leader, that's super important, and you're influencing a lot of these young, impressionable dudes, right? At the beginning stages of their life. And this is something I ask almost every guest, is Utah's a unique place. We crave the business success. While also craving the family success. Which I feel like is unique in the country.
Yeah, I agree.
What advice do you have for people, no matter what their ages are, but you've done a lot of this, of maybe balancing? I've realized is probably not the best word, right? Because there's seasons of imbalance, but what advice do you have to this demographic of people that are trying to maximize themselves as like a family man and as a provider, right?
Yeah. So those 4 F's that I talked about in my book, one of the kind of frameworks that I discuss, and there's like a visual for it, but I talk about how, like, I like to think of them as like, you have a light light, a dim light, and a dark light. And those 4 F's, it's impossible for all 4 of those to be light at the same time. The goal is to not let anything go dark. So like you're just going to be in like dim or light. And that is the goal. I think you mentioned it a little bit before, but Tony Robbins talks about like strategic imbalance is the phrase he uses. And like, it's totally acceptable and like actually important to get strategically imbalanced in certain phases of life. And when you're young, I think Alex Hormozy has a really cool quote, and I'm paraphrasing, but the concept is like, if you're surrounded by a bunch of 20-year-old single men, or even like newly married men that are like they want to talk about like work-life balance a lot, you're probably hanging in the room with the wrong people. Because it's like, dude, you haven't built anything yet, and you don't have any like oxygen yet to borrow from. Like, you need to go build, go get strategically imbalanced, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, my message, because like summer sales is imbalanced. It's a season of just like absolute grind.
Sure.
My guys work their tails off in the summertime. I just think when you're young, it's like you are in a season of your life where you got to go hunt and like be the athlete and go play in the game and but don't let any of the other F's go dark. You maintain, you got to nurture. But yeah, like I think when you're young, you should go work your tail off and become someone and create a brand or find some momentum, and then you, as life goes on and you have kids that start keeping score a little bit, then you can kind of make those calls that are deliberate. And I think, but then at that point, I think then you're in a place where it makes sense. So I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for. I think that for me in my life now, like all 4 of them matter just a ton. And it is this balancing act. But I think when someone's like really young and they don't have a whole lot there yet, like your mom and dad don't need to see you for Sunday dinner every, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you're 22 years old. Go, you're like, your time is better spent going and trying to find a spouse than hanging with mom and dad all the time. Like, you don't need to make any more memories with mom and dad right now.
Yeah.
Like, give them some grandkids. Like, go freaking find a spouse. So it's like, wherever you're at, like, what is the honest next thing that I got to go get done in my life? And if you're newly married, it honestly is probably like, go find some financial independence and go work your tail off.
No, I completely agree. Like, to bring structure and stability to a family, like, finances need to be of importance. And maybe that is like unorthodox in a lot of people's minds, but I think that's one of the best things you can provide your family. But I still don't think, and I don't think this is what you're saying, is you like, don't let that go dark, right?
Yeah.
So let's like paint a picture here.
Yeah.
In your guys' shoes, you have a young, like, newly married young couple, which in door to door happens a lot. They're bringing their wives out in the summers and like talk about sacrifice. The husband's pounding the doors and maybe the wife's like kind of hunkering down in a hotel room or whatever the scenario is, right?
Happens. Yeah.
Like, what advice do you have to that person to not let that light go dark, right? Because I could see in that situation, it's like you go burn all your energy knocking the doors and you don't have like a lot of quantity to give. But what advice do you have to those
guys? I mean, that was kind of, I love that. I actually, when recruiting, much prefer to have both of them there. And I like to have multiple combos where I'm really brutally honest. Like, if it's a stud kid and he's married and they're just trying to figure out like, what's this going to cost for us to go get this done? Like, I would rather not have to have them find out like, oh, wow, this is actually really hard. Like, he's working so much. Like, I'd rather just have people have eyes wide open. So like, I will sit with a couple and basically say, three questions. Like, what do you want in life? What's that going to cost? And how are you going to pay that cost?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the three questions to build the conversation around. And, what do you want in life? If they're ambitious, if they're not ambitious, first of all, I'm probably going to just DQ them working for me in the first place, because like, it is just like, you should go work a 9 to 5. And like, if you're just like, I want him home for dinner, and he's like, I'd rather be home for dinner, I'd rather, like, then we shouldn't even pursue this thing. So like, we can DQ each other with question number 1 if you're not a big thinking person that's hungry, that wants to go build like a really abundant life and get ahead young. Like, my thing only works with people that are willing to create some imbalance on purpose young. So, but let's say their answer is, we want to do it, we want to kill it, we want to become wealthy young, but we just don't know what that's gonna look like. Let's talk about what that looks like. So then question number 2 is like, how what's that gonna cost? And the honest answer, like, I'm gonna look at him and say, you're gonna work 8 to 9 hours a day in the summertime, and if you're wanting to build teams, like, in the off season, like, you're gonna do that while going to school or whatever else you're doing, and it like needs to be a pillar of your life, something that you're focused on. So it's like, it's just gonna be busy. You're gonna work a lot. And then I'm gonna look at her, and it's like, he's gonna work a lot, and you need to find a way to like either have your own thing that like fills up your cup, or you need to be so stoked about like what he's doing is going to go do for you together, that that you're comfortable, being separated for long periods of time, day to day type thing. And so then you kind of create a little strategy plan around it, right? And every couple is a little bit different. For some, it's like her having her thing that she can go pursue usually is really healthy. My wife at some point started an Instagram page that's now freaking blowing up. Pretty cool, but it's called Motherhood Must-Haves. And it's an Instagram that honestly, like, she did enough of these summers moving out there with me, even with kids. Like, she just had some time of like, my husband's gone, he's working. So she started an Instagram account, and the branding is around like, things that moms might need to be able to go be awesome moms. And it's kind of now like an outfits thing. She posts a lot of outfits and stuff, but she's crushing. It's like, it'd been this cool, super cool outlet for her. And that came out of like, my husband's grinding, and we're a little bit imbalanced right now, and there just created some time for her to be able to go chase that down. And so sometimes I'll share that example with girls and be like, find something that fills you up and fires you up. Like, this thing for him can set you guys up, but you also might be able to go build something yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if that helps with that, but that is kind of the combo that I would have with them.
I love it. And yeah, I think that's awesome that you're getting involved there too, because I feel like, especially as like newlyweds, and especially in Utah where newlyweds are 22 to 23, like, they're young, and that level of communication isn't always there, right? Mm-hmm. So you like walking them through that, I think is super smart. I love that answer.
And some girls, this could come off the wrong way, but it's like, my wife was down, which is a massive blessing. Like, I get she grew up in this environment where like taught young that money doesn't grow on trees, and like, but there's also on the other side of the spectrum, there's the girl that like dad owns his own biz, and she was born when dad was 40 years old, and dad's worth 50 mil, and we go on trips, and it's like, she didn't see the price tag of that dad paid between ages 20 and 40.
Dang.
And I don't mean that disrespectfully.
Yeah.
There's a lot of men that operate that way too, right? Where they didn't see dad from 20 to 40 paying the price tag.
Yeah.
And so I get this, like, sometimes, whether it's the spouse of a rep or the rep himself, like, where they just, that price tag, like, they don't understand it.
Yep.
So like, my job in hiring reps is like, dude, the price tag is actually pretty high. It's like, this is going to take some imbalance. And so anyway, it's interesting.
I love that answer. It is a grind, no matter what industry. One last question before we cap this off, a fun question. top 3 favorite courses in Utah.
Dude, that's a great question. So we live really close to Talon's Cove,
Uh-huh.
and I know Talon's Cove is just a public
Yeah.
golf course, but it's up
I
there.
love it.
Love Talon's, love the views, love the west side of the lake looking east
Yep.
with the lake plus the mountains. So Talon's Cove's rad, and for the price tag, it's a really good deal.
And availability.
$50, it's available.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So Talon's is for sure up there. Oh, I'd have to throw like a St. George course in there. I just love St. George, love the warmth. And I played Copper Rock a couple months ago. Love Copper Rock. I'll put Copper Rock and Sand Hollow kind of in the same as one of them. So a St. George course. And then Willow Creek for me is a country club that I'm nostalgic because I kind of grew up on it. My grandpa's a member and lives on Willow Creek. But Willow Creek's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, I love Willow Creek.
I haven't been there.
Also love the Park City courses, but anyway.
Dude, I got wrecked on Soldier Hollow, and now anything up that direction,
Yeah.
I just got to go more.
Yeah.
But I love it. Well, thanks for jumping on,
Yeah,
Parker.
thank you for having me.
It's been a good conversation, and I know there's a lot of value provided to the audience. So hopefully our first of many.
Yeah, thanks, bro. I appreciate you, and I think super highly of you. So
Likewise, brother.
Yeah.